Okay, so here's the equation right here. So how this would work is, let's say you're told that you have a slope of 2/3 and then a point on the line. So you need slope and a point on the line. So let's say a point on the line is like 3, 4. And then they want the equation of the line. So this would be your x1, y1, and then you can plug it into this equation. So for example, it'll be y minus y1, which is 4, equals the slope, 2/3, and then x minus 3. Notice that the subtraction symbol is part of the equation. So if you're pulling out the coordinates, you have to pull out a positive number. Or for example, if this is plus, that would mean that the coordinate is actually the opposite sign. And we'll kind of go through some examples with that. But yeah, that's how it works. Okay, then for example 1, it says find the slope of a line and a point that passes through. Use these graphs to graph the line. Okay, so here it is in point slope format. We can grab our slope right here. So m equals -2. And then a point on the line, we can grab out the x would be -1. Remember, it's opposite sign. And then y would be 3. Also, what used to help me when I was doing this as a student is like x always goes with the x and then the y coordinates with the y, which helps a lot as well. So it says begin at -1, 3, that point, and then our slope is -2. So that'd be -2 over 1. So we're going to go down 2 to the right 1. Okay, so graphing -1, 3. And then our slope is -2. So down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. We can continue. And once you have a few points, you can graph the line. You can use your ID, or in my case, post-it notes to get a straight line. And there is our line. So our line has a negative slope, which makes sense because we had a negative slope there. Okay, the next example right here, our slope, I always like to grab that first. It's the easiest one to grab, is 3/4. And then a point on the line. Our x coordinate will be +6, and then y, what's going on here? Well, this is just y because it would be y plus 0, which means that the y coordinate would just be 0. So we begin at 6, 0, and then we're going to move 3, 4. So like up 3 to the right 4. So I'm going to graph 6, 0 right here. And then up 3 over 4. It doesn't fit on the graph. So instead, I'll go -3, -4. Because negative divided by negative is positive, so I can go down 3, 1, 2, 3, to left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the next example here, it says write an equation for each line in point slope form, and they kind of walk us through the steps. They give us the structure to begin with, and they gradually let us do it more and more on our own. So here it says a line that passes through -3, 6, and has a slope of -1/3. So I'm going to plug in the slope right here. And then this is our x coordinate and our y. So x minus -3, y minus 6. And realistically, you wouldn't see this double negative written like it, if it was an answer choice, you'd see it more like this. Y minus 6 equals -1/3, and then x plus 3. So the double negative just becomes plus. The next one, same thing, passes through 5, 3, and has a slope of 2. And x 5, and the y is 3, just like that. The next one, they don't give us this structure. We have to work through it from scratch. So it's y minus our y1, 5, equals the slope, which is 3/5, times x minus -2. Okay, next one, same thing. This is our x1, y1. So y minus 4 equals, the slope is -2, x minus 3. And when you have that, just flip to the next page. Okay, so for these first examples, from point slope form, we can easily change the equation into slope intercept form. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And then slope intercept form is y equals m x plus b, the one you're probably most familiar with. You can actually go from this format to this format. So let's say you see this on a test, it asks you to graph it or something, and you forgot like what goes where. You can just rearrange it to get it to this format, as long as you know how to do that, and then you could graph it from this format. So given this here, we need to change into slope-intercept form. The first thing I would do is I would distribute this 2 to both of those terms. So y minus 1 equals 2x minus 4. So I'm trying to get it into y equals mx plus b. I need to get y by itself, so I add 1 to both sides, and I get y equals 2x minus 3. And that's my answer. Y equals 2x minus 3. Okay, B. For this one, we're going to actually change this from a 4 to a 5 because it makes the problem come out evenly, which is always nice. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. We're trying to get it into this format, so we're going to distribute this -4/5 to both of these terms. So y plus 7 equals -4/5 x, and then -4/5 times -5. You could do that in a calculator, or off to the side, I'm just going to multiply that. -4/5 times -5 over 1. Then I can, -4 times -5 is positive 20 over 5, which equals 4. So -4/5 times -5 is 4. So we just do plus 4, like this. And then from here, to get y by itself, just subtract 7 from both sides, and you get y equals -4/5 x minus 3. And that is your answer. Y equals -4/5 x minus 3. Okay, then next. So again, very common test question. They might ask, like, they might give you this equation and then ask which equation is equivalent to that, and they just want you to like rearrange it and then choose the correct equation from the answer choices. Okay, next, another very common test question. Write an equation for each line in slope-intercept form, and it gives you that the line passes through these 2 points. So slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b is what they want, and they only give you these 2 coordinates. So we need to find the slope and the y-intercept. So first things first, I'll find the slope just using the slope equation. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Also, I did look at the SAT reference sheet. This is not on there, so that's an equation that you need to have memorized for the SAT. It's on the geometry EOC one though, so you know. Okay, so we have this equation. We can label our points x1, y1, x2, y2, and then just put it into the equation. 5 minus 3 over 0 minus 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. 0 minus 3, negative 3. So we get negative 2/3 for the slope. So this is our slope. So y equals negative 2/3 x plus b. We're getting there. So at this point, you could narrow down answer choices if it's multiple choice. And now we need to find the y-intercept. What we can do is take one of these points, either one is fine, plug it in for x and y. So one being x, one being y. I'm going to choose this one just because I know that 0 times this will make this a lot easier. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take one of these points and plug it in. So y being 5 equals negative 2/3 times 0 plus b. And then 5 equals b, because negative 2/3 times 0 is just going to be 0. So y-intercept is 5. So now we have y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5. And so we can replace this b with 5. You could have also possibly recognized this as the y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis, and just plugged in 5, but whatever works. Okay, then the next one, I definitely saw this on the SAT as well, like the practice SAT questions. It says a line parallel to this and passes through these points. So a line parallel to this would have the same slope. So parallel, same slope. So our slope is going to be 4. So like y equals 4x plus b. We don't even have to like solve for slope because we already know it's going to be the same. Then it passes through these points, so we can plug this in for x and y here, and then solve for b. So doing that, we get 4 equals 4 times 2 plus b. Subtract 8, b equals negative 4. And then I can plug that into the equation. So y equals 4x minus 4. Replace this b with negative 4. Okay, then the next one, another SAT style question. The line perpendicular to this and passes through these points. So remember, perpendicular lines, the slope's a negative reciprocal. So this slope, which would be negative 2 over 1, we need to flip it and make it positive 1/2. So our slope of our perpendicular line will be 1/2. So y equals 1/2 x plus b. So now we need to solve for the y-intercept. So this is our x and y that we'll plug in here. So we get 2 equals 1/2 times 3 plus b. Half of 3, or like 1/2 times 3, would be 3/2, or 1.5. I'm going to work with decimals just because I feel more comfortable working with decimals. So 1/2 times 3 would be 3 over 2, or 1.5. And then solving for b, subtract 1.5. And I get 0.5 equals b, or b equals 1/2, however you want to think about it. And then I can plug this in here. So y equals 1/2 x plus 1/2 for the y-intercept. There's one more style of problem I want to go over that comes up on the homework, just so you're aware. Let's see, I'll do it over in this corner over here. So one of the problems says, okay, the x-intercept is 6, y-intercept is 3. What is the equation of the line? So what is the equation? Like slope-intercept form. So what you can do for the x-intercept, that would be at 6, 0. And then the y-intercept would be at 0, 3, where it crosses the y-axis. And then from here, you can find slope using slope formula. So m equals y2 minus y1, 3 minus 0, over x2 minus x1, 0 minus 6, 3 over negative 6, negative 1/2. So slope equals -1/2. So like in the equation of a line, y equals -1/2 x plus b. Then you can choose one of these to plug in for x and y and solve for b. Or you could just recognize like y-intercept is 3, so that's got to be b. So y equals -1/2 x plus 3, and that is your equation of that line. Okay, that's just all. So, your to-do list, still have a good amount of time. Do the homework, 3-8B on School G. Finish your weekly ALEKs. If all your ALEKs and 6 or more if all your homework and 6 or more ALEKs are done, help one person with one assignment, then you can also get your phone and chill. Good job, y'all.